Welcome to the Holeinthewall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill DeMent, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Holeinthewall Drywall Repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It is an adventure every day, isn't it, owning a small business?
It absolutely is, and small business ownership has its ups and downs, busy seasons, slow seasons, and I'll tell you what, the past couple of months have been a pretty busy season for us.
No, they really have. Small business I've heard described as unique in that within the same 24-hour period, you can have the highest of highs and lowest of lows.
Boy, I tell you what, that has happened so often. I remember when we finally won, we got awarded the trademark for Holeinthewall.
Yeah.
It was like after years. And then we're back in the office and we were like high-five and celebrate because it's a big deal, right? That's part of our intellectual property that we've been waiting for a long time. And then like literally there was a customer complaint and, money's tight and, it's like back to reality.
Yeah.
So it is a super high, super low. But I tell you what, stick with it. It's a rewarding process.
Absolutely. And if business is your thing, it's lifeblood. It's excitement. It's the thing that gets you up and keeps you driving every morning. I remember years ago, I said it almost in jest, but it was true. When I just ran a painting company and we did drywall repairs on the side many years ago. And about 11 o'clock, I'd realize, I'm really hungry because I was so excited to get out and get going that I would forget to eat breakfast some mornings just because I need to stop by the store. I got to buy Sherwin. I got to,
Yeah.
And I want to be on time, and I want to get this accomplished today. I was really driven to do all that, and then realized suddenly, I hadn't eaten anything. And I've heard other people say that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when you do something that you really love, or just a challenge of doing something different and something new. Because that's what I love about our business, because every day is a new day, and you're not sitting in a cubicle typing away, doing your reports. Our guys are out there slinging mud, changing people's homes, making things better.
Yeah, no, true.
But when you're in business, and this kind of leads into our topic today. We don't have a guest today. Today is just me and Bill kind of talking, and it's about something that's kind of been on our heart lately. Something we've had this subject in the hopper for months now. But when you're in business as an entrepreneur, the buck stops with you. It's your business, your baby.
Yeah.
Even if you're part of a franchise, it's still, you're that franchisee. You own that business, that territory in your location. And it's important that you become self-reliant in your business, because what happens when things do go wrong, which they do?
Oh, that ought to be in the manual for starting your own business. Things will go wrong.
Yes.
Things will not always be perfect. Things will frequently not be perfect.
Yeah. Because no one really is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. Not that you have to do it alone, but you definitely have to be the captain of your own ship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. It was one of our owners, Will. Shout out to Will up in the Destin, Florida area. He posted in our group chat with the owners a while back, and it was basically the gist of is don't complain about the things you've been praying for. As in, like, you're so busy, you don't know what to do. How are you going to survive this next season because you got to hire more employees, you're growing, and you're stressed out because you now, like you talk to these owners and they're like going, oh my gosh, they sound exhausted.
Yeah.
But this is the very thing they've been praying for.
Right. And you hit on a really good point, because even success itself in business brings all new sets of challenges. I don't say they're problems, but they're challenges. I need more personnel. I need more vehicles. I need a salesperson. I need somebody doing accounting full time.
Yeah, or I want to grow. I know how to grow, but guess what? Growth takes capital. I don't have the capital to grow. So go find the capital. Go get a loan. Go get another investor, whatever it looks like.
Yep.
But that's you being the captain of your own ship.
Yep, it's true. So being in business, it just brings a heavy dose of reality. Nobody's coming to save you, right?
Yeah.
And I have this visual, James, about like the cavalry coming, when you're surrounded by the enemy and you're out in the middle of the desert and you're running low on ammunition and you're just waiting on somebody to show up to save the day. And here comes the cavalry riding in, blue uniforms, yellow flag, But frequently in business, that's not what's going to happen to you. And so this is where a sense of self-reliance has to come to the forefront.
Yeah. And folks, we're trying to talk about this not to scare you, right? Because you can get through it, but it really is kind of meant to a wake-up call. So before you get in over your head, plan and do some things now for it. So when you're ready to hang that open for business sign, you need to have your systems and processes kind of dialed in. The freedom of owning your own business is great. Okay, so you have this freedom. But in times, this is why we did the entrepreneur versus employee podcast a while back, because you're used to be able to take vacation and PTO time, but as a small business owner, that might come.
Yeah, and somebody above you is going to make arrangements that everything's just continuing to move forward while you're gone.
But if you
and you're getting paid too.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you want to do that in your own business, you better have the process. I remember when you were able to actually take your first vacation. Gigi was here. She could answer the phones. She could dispatch the crews, and you were able to take a week off.
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time. Right?
Well, I had taken time off, but it's just you shut down everything. You know, if you're the center cog, everything comes. Now, there were times I was able to leave a lieutenant in place and to complete a job or do something like that, but there wasn't a freedom just to be gone and having full confidence that things were going to continue running.
Yeah. So it can be overwhelming for sure, but it can also be some of the most empowering things that.
Well, and it's empowering because, every choice, every mistake, every customer experience, it all trails back to you, the choices you've made, the decisions you've made. And for some people, that can be overwhelming. Have you thought about that? But in truth, it can also be one of the most empowering truths that you'll ever embrace.
Yep.
And this is what we're seeing with a lot of the people that we've awarded franchises to this past year, is that they are just having corporate burnout. They've been 20 years plus, some of these guys in the corporate world. They have made a good living. They've provided for their families, but boy, the emotional toll that it's taken on these guys and the psychological toll to just not be able to make choices, to make decisions concerning their own lives. And frankly, sometimes they never know when they're going to be laid off or let go. And this has happened to a lot of the candidates that we've spoken to. They're like, just tired of being laid off.
Yeah. Or I see AI coming to take my job in a few years.
Oh, boy, that's a common one, isn't it?
And that's why home services is such a valuable thing, because AI is not going to take the place of hanging drywall anytime soon.
No, it won't.
Yeah, for sure. But when you own your own business, you're the hero of your own story, right? This is your business story. And what kind of hero are you going to be, right? Are you going to be one that's short-footed, or are you going to be one that's always, remember that hero, the Great American Hero?
Yeah.
And he could barely fly, just you can be one of those superheroes. So many people launch their own business with a quiet hope that someone will swoop in with the answers. But the reality is that's not true. That's not the case. People aren't going to just swoop in to save you.
No, it's true. And I think that people harbor a hope that, maybe a mentor is going to step in and kind of map out a whole strategy for me. And you can find people like that. And frankly, we have found and used people like that. I think that's a key function, because finding answers beyond your own set of experiences or your own knowledge level is critical to move forward. And I think a mentor can really help to fill that. And
but you have to be the one to go seek the mentor. It's not just going to follow the sky. I think that's the issue.
Well, I would certainly be a little apprehensive about a mentor that found me. They're suddenly sending me emails like, I want to mentor you.
Yeah.
I would be a little uneasy with that. Another role would be the networking groups. A lot of times business owners will think, well, these guys are just going to flood me with referrals. I remember actually having that feeling one of the first times I went to BNI. I'm like, people are going to dig this.
Oh, yeah.
And they were excited. There was an excitement about what you do, and we did get business from that. But that wasn't the purpose. I don't think that you can solely rely on those groups to support your business and to support you emotionally and psychologically.
Yeah.
Although they're helpful.
They're a necessity. And even when you buy a franchise, we talk about it a lot when we're vetting franchise owners, is you can't hide behind the brand. You have to be out there. You're the expert in your community, not the franchisor, but you, the franchisee, the owner of your location. So you've got to be your own champion, your own hero. And the franchise can do its part. We can help you with marketing. We can help you with coaching. We can give you the systems. You got the IP. But you got to put, you got to
put in the work.
One foot in front of the other in your location.
Yeah. No, and in regards to that, coaches, partners, mentors, even good working systems, they're all helpful. But you have to work them And if you're looking for just those things without your input to put you over the top, you are already kind of starting with the wrong mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because business ownership, some wise person once said, doesn't reward spectators, it rewards action takers.
Right. Yeah. And so this all leads to you have to be self-reliant, and why you can use self-reliance as your business superpower. You have to have the ability to think on your feet.
Yep.
And you have to have the ability to overcome, because listen, there are going to be challenges. We talk about it all the time, and when it comes to the difference between a professional and a do-yourselfer at home.
Yes.
You say it well.
Well, so a homeowner never thinks they're going to make a mess. So they operate and do the job as if they're not going to make a mess. But you know what happens? They always make a mess. They don't put down for painting, they don't put down a tarp, or they start at the middle of the wall rather than an edge. And, they just did, their whole process is wrong. But a professional knows, we tell our guys this all the time and our franchisees, a professional knows they're going to make a mess. You're working with dusty stuff, with liquids, okay? Paint is liquid.
Yep.
So you have strategies that protect against that. A professional approaches it a different way. He starts by covering. He puts tarp down. He knows he's going to make a mess. He knows how to paint or to do the drywall repair, and he does it in the correct order.
Yeah. He cleans up after himself.
And he cleans up.
So that paintbrush can be used again, as opposed to most homeowners just throw it in the trash.
Well, they paint on Friday night, and then Saturday morning, the paintbrush is laying on the counter, and it's all dried out, and the paint lid was left off because they were, having a beer while they were, and they just went to bed as soon as they were exhausted.
Yeah. But self-reliance in business owners, they make faster decisions, right? Because they're not having to wait for someone else's permission.
Yeah, and I heard that before about like a type A person. They just love making decisions, James. And if they make a wrong one, guess what they'll do? They'll just
take another one. And you're allowed to go forward without blaming others.
Oh, I love that concept. Part of it is you have to be willing to make mistakes. You have to understand going in, you are going to make mistakes, okay? Because you just don't know everything. And there's an old saying that I love, and I quoted it to you earlier, and you go, oh, you got to include that. But the idea is I don't know everything, but it doesn't mean I don't know anything. So I start from where I know, and I work towards what I don't know and try to find solutions. And that is the essence of failing forward.
Yeah.
Because I tried something, oh my gosh, that didn't work very well. Well, now that goes into my library of experiences, and I know I don't do it that way again next time. At best, I'll try something else.
Yeah, and we see it all the time. You get on a job site and you make a mistake, and maybe there's a warranty. But guess what? That's a learning opportunity. And you don't kick yourself in the tail and kind of go, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person. You go, I'm very sorry for that. We're going to fix it, and then I'm not going to do that mistake again.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know people notice that, though? People who behave in that way get noticed when they act with confidence.
Yeah. You are the expert in your field, right? Act like it. Okay. Not cocky, but confident.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
But know that you've got something to offer. You have something, and even if you don't think you do, fake it till you make it, right? We talk about imposter syndrome with Bonnie a lot, and it's like, no, you are the expert. Lift up your shoulders, hold your head high, and go.
Well, and the idea is not only do you get noticed when you act with confidence, but you attract support from other people around you. Mm-hmm. We've noticed that, and we were talking about this in the pre-show. In your sphere of influence, people are cheering for us because we do act with confidence. We have a thriving business, and people notice that, and they want to be fans.
They are, and they're cheering for us, right? Mm-hmm. So in I call it our sphere of influence, right? Just our orbit around who we are as Holeinthewall. People see us, and they're rooting for us, and they want to be part of that system somehow. You look at majority of the people that work with our business, they were attracted to us through just watching us from the sidelines. Heroes, they see what we're doing. Like, that's cool. Let's be a part of that. Trish, our marketing company with Marketing Smarting Pants, we were in a networking group, and I heard her say, she said, hold on, man, I wish I could help them grow their brand.
Yeah.
It was like, what? You want to help us grow our brand? And then little do you know, 7 years later, she's here running.
She's done just that. Yeah. So let's bring it down to the ground level here. What does self-reliance really look like? Give me a couple ideas on that.
Well, self-reliance is, you've got to be willing to go to your first event. your chamber event, your BNI
No,
event.
but I'm scared to do that.
I know. Just put one foot in front of the other and go. Right.
I don't even know what to say.
We even teach a class on it just because that's how common it is.
I don't even know anybody at this event.
That's the point.
These are the thoughts everybody has, isn't it? This is common to everyone.
It really is. And you just have to be willing to go do it. And again, it is a fake it till you make it mentality. You go and you show up to an event, and maybe one event you don't do great at. It's okay. Go to another event.
Yeah.
Because the purpose is you've got to bring your solutions to their problems, but they don't even know they need you yet. So you have to go to these events to kind of say, I mean, for us, drywall repair, but most people are like, is that even a thing? How can you build a whole business with just repairing drywall? Well, I don't know. We did it. But you have to get in front of them to let them know that's even a possibility.
Yeah.
And that's where you just kind of make that first choice. You got to steer that ship in that right direction. And that's where self-reliance is, because they're not just going to come to you.
No.
It's one thing if you have a Burger King sign out there and people say, oh, I'm hungry, they go to Burger King, they just drive in.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
Yeah.
You've got your own system that you're going to have to.
One other point I want to make, and I always want to couple this with showing up at the Chamber of Commerce event or a networking event, is stay at it. One of our contacts likes to say, show up and keep showing up. Because people get familiar with you when they see you the second, the third, the fourth time, and they warm to you.
And what happens when you don't show up?
And then nothing. They forget all about you. They move on because they're meeting how many people every networking group they're doing.
So if you don't show up, they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. And they forgot all about you.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Self-reliance to me is like self-education. One of the things that I got interested in recently was like budgeting.
Yeah.
Like for our business. And I know that we have professionals, but I want to have an understanding. So I went on YouTube and I watched professionals go, set up your budgeting like this. Think about it in these terms. And even I have two sons here at Holeinthewall, and they'll send me videos. And that shows me they've been on social media looking at other guys doing drywall and picking up ideas from them.
Yeah.
Whether a new tool, new technique, a different way of doing things. I love that.
Yeah, self-education is crucial. So obviously it's the task that you need to accomplish, but it's also how can you grow your business? How do you know about certain markets? Well, there are people who are giving free information away online, right?
Yes.
And if it's not free, it's okay to pay for it. Go find someone that can help and show you the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
So
here's an idea for you. I'm actually a little uncomfortable with myself, and I'm just being transparent.
Yeah.
Is making sales call, and you could flop. I hate, as my personality is, I don't want to face that situation.
Yeah, no one likes to be let down, rejected.
Nobody likes to be rejected.
No. But you got to do it anyways.
You just got to go do it anyway.
You just got to do it anyways. And it's hard, but when you go and meet someone who could potentially change your business, it's worth it.
James, I have had a situation where I went to do that, and I asked somebody for work, and they gave it to me. And I left that meeting on cloud nine. I was so energized for the next week. Like, I went in, I pitched what I do, and they said, yeah, we connected with that. We have a need for that. Here's a job for you right away. And I got a couple of more if you do good on that. And of course we did.
Yeah.
And I was so energized by that experience.
It is really exhilarating when you make those sales, but you got to be willing to take the failures too. So that's self-reliance. You just got to go do it. And frankly, when you're just starting, there are certain things that you may not have the budget to hire someone to help you with, right? So maybe that's fixing your marketing, Google listing, maybe making sure that you have the right SEO built. I mean, and it changes all the time. So you have to educate yourself to go figure out how to make sure you do that. You're the one who's working up at night, there's kind of a misnomer that if you own your own business, you're going to have all this time, to do the things you want to do. Well, the reality is you're working all day, and then you go home at night and you're still doing invoices and you're still working.
And there's a misconception that the entrepreneur is just glorious at everything.
Yeah.
He's gifted to do everything. And you know what, James? They're really not. Most people have a couple of areas, a few areas they're really good at, and everybody has areas they're not good at. I'm in, as you mentioned, the Google listing. If I was in charge of our Google listing and there was a problem with it, I'm just like, I would just be frozen.
Right.
But I have a strategy to get through that from years and years ago. This is probably from nearly 40 years ago, the 3 phone call rule. In 3 phone calls, you can find any piece of information that you need. first guy, the first phone call won't have it, but he'll be able to direct you to the next guy. The next guy might do it, but not have time to do it right now. That can get you to the third call. And the third call, it's almost always the guy, the exact person you need to help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now occasionally I've gone 5 calls.
Sure.
But the theory is in 3 phone calls, and it can take 5 to 10 minutes. And from 10 minutes ago, I had nothing, no inspiration, no direction, no way of solving this problem. To 10 minutes later, I now have someone who can solve this problem for me.
Yeah, or guide you to solve
Or to guide,
yourself.
yes.
Yeah, and frankly, if you think about it, to be self-reliant, you got to stop playing the woe's me game. You can't blame everybody else but yourself. You can't blame the economy. You can't blame, this is how things are built. This is this is you. This is your business. And sure, the economy could have its effect, but you have to pivot and roll. Listen, when interest rates jumped from 2.5% to 7.5%, we slowed down in business. People weren't buying homes as fast. Yeah. But we don't sit back and kind of go, woe is me. No, you pivot and you shift. And you make sure that you're diversified so you're not relying on just that market. So not being the victim, but being the solution to your own problem.
Well, and I'll tell you what, there's a reward for that too. I'll tell you a secret side of that. In 2008, when the economy fell apart, a lot of my competitors went out of business. Now, and it was skinny. I didn't have a lot of business, but a lot of my competitors went out of business, left the area, and they're not coming back no matter what.
Right.
And then 15 minutes later, when the economy began to tick up again, those people that had survived it, that had worked their way through it, had more work than they knew what to do with.
Absolutely.
We grew quickly at that time. Matter of fact, that's when we actually started Holeinthewall, about that time.
Yeah.
When that economy from 2008 was ticking up in 2009, 2010, and look what it grew into. Because we hung on.
Right, because that's the difference between being an employee and being an owner. That ownership mentality is what really drives the success. You have to think of the owner. And really, you want to be that owner, because if you do have employees, you want to be the person that they look up to, right? You want to be the person that your employees kind of can go, you know what, I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but the owner of the company does. If not, he'll figure it out, because you exude this confidence and have this ownership mentality.
Yeah, it's true. So here's a paradox for you.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to go it alone, even though you're in business for yourself. Most self-reliant people also know when to ask for help. And this is a really critical thing. Sometimes you are just in a little over your head, and sometimes you maybe have to swallow your pride. I have seen you when you first came into the business. You had a very humble approach when you ask people about stuff, and you still use this technique, I think. And I look at it, I go, I almost don't want to bend a knee. I don't want to be humble and ask that, but you have a really good approach to people like, I'm not sure how to do this. Could you give me some advice on? That's a really great way to learn the next thing you need.
Yeah. Well, if I don't know, I want to know, right? And the thing is that you can ask for help, but just don't expect that person to do it for you, right? Part of the self-reliance and this ownership mentality is you have to be able to take the advice and run with it. And you also, this is why this podcast was built, to really preach down to people's brains, don't do business in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yes, you're the owner of your business. Yes, no one's coming to save you, but you can ask for help. You can go reach out. Then, there are other owners of businesses that have gone through the same problem that you've gone through. And if you take them to coffee, they'll give you free advice, right? If you join some sort of leadership group or some sort of networking group, or maybe it's a men's Bible study or whatever it is, you find somebody in your church that's successful, go buy them coffee and run this, whatever scenario by them and see what they say.
I have a friend that runs marathons, and the idea is, as a marathon runner, you have to run your own race. Nobody can move your legs. Nobody can run your race for you. But the beauty of the marathon is you're never running by yourself. You're always running in a group of people, and you're supporting one another. And that's kind of what doing small business is like. When you connect with networking groups, that's that group you get to run with.
Yeah, and it's one of the added benefits that we just kind of realized as we've got now 10 locations open as of this recording, and more coming. We didn't realize how important the community of just even the franchise ownership is. And
that's been a real hidden blessing, actually.
It's been a secret sauce blessing that we didn't know we had. And all of a sudden, we now have owners, and we have a group chat that we're all talking, all day, helping each other out, which is amazing. So if someone needs help, anyone ever come up with this problem? And they throw a problem out there, and in the network of owners that we have, even if you and I didn't have the answer or couldn't jump on fast enough, someone said, yeah, here's what we did for that problem. Here's this tool that we used, or here's this product. And you're able to, like, again, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. Got this network. And if you don't have a franchise, but you still know other business owners, there's people out there that have, hey, I need a market, or I need a fresh idea on this. They will help you for free, mainly because you're building friendships with them. Yeah. So I think that's important.
Well, I think you have to know when to ask for help or when to look for help. And sometimes it's going to cost a little money. And you need a business coach, go hire one.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be the difference. I mean, we haven't specifically hired a business coach, but we've had several on the podcast, and we know in our personal lives, we know business coaches. And they really have something to offer.
And they have value, especially if you don't have the experience in certain areas. Well, they do. And they know, and they can coach you through that experience.
Yeah. You need better, business software. Go invest.
Go invest in it.
Yeah, go get some. And we were just talking about this. If you need a community,
join one.
And everyone needs one.
Yeah.
You love saying you can't do business in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. People have to know you. You have to smell people, touch people. You know what I mean? You have to be out there mingling.
And they're rooting for you.
And they're pulling for you. And on the flip side, you get to root for them.
Yes.
We had somebody in our office today, 2 young people, they were getting ready for a party, and they both run their own businesses. I love talking to those guys, and I love going, tell me what's going on in your business. Yeah. Oh, wow, this is a new exciting thing. I love that.
Yeah. And the more seasoned you get, then you're giving back to other people as well. I love that.
Well, the idea is just don't sit around waiting for somebody to build your business for you.
Right.
Yeah,
you've got to put in those miles. You've got to put in the time. You've got to, muscle memory, swing that racket. You have to be there doing it day in and day out. You've got to burn that shoe leather. Go back a few podcasts. We talk about burning shoe leather. It is important that you get out there and do it, not by yourself, but you've got to be the captain of your own ship.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So give me a takeaway. What's your big takeaway on this?
Well, Bill, you and I have both been in moments where we wanted someone to come rescue us.
Oh, I remember one time early on, I asked Dan, you don't know somebody that's got $10,000 they could just give, let me use for a minute?
Yeah, just want to borrow it.
Turns out he didn't.
Nope. But what moves us forward was realization that no one is coming, and that the best thing that could have ever happened is that we figured it out on our own.
Well, and here's the thing. As you build self-reliance, you also build confidence. And we've used this method for training new guys when they go out in the field. We put them in a truck, and we assign them jobs that they have a very high probability of succeeding at. Yep. Because when they succeed, they build more confidence. And as they have more confidence, they build more success. It's a whipsaw effect that they feed off of each other, and it's the same for the business owner.
Yeah. It's you teach them to do it in bite-sized chunks, so they're not out there failing from the very beginning.
Yeah,
I love it.
Good topic, James. That's a good one. We've been kind of batting this one around for a little while.
Yeah,
but it's so true. The value of self-reliance, the value of understanding that nobody's coming to save you, the value in knowing that the success of my business is not wholly, but it's mainly dependent on you and your decisions and your actions.
But if you take the time early on in the business to build your systems, develop your strategy for cash flow.
Yeah.
If we have a big project that requires us to buy a lot of supplies, well, we've got to fund that until we get paid.
Yeah.
We've got to still make payroll while we're waiting for the check to come in.
So those employees want to get paid.
They want to eat, right? So do you have a line of credit? Do you have a credit card? Do you have accounts where you can, think about those things ahead of time. Build your systems ahead of time. Maybe it's so if you feel overwhelmed with invoicing, well, then let's work on creating an automated invoicing system for you, so you're not always having to be the one to push that button.
Yeah.
Or you hire a part-time bookkeeper to come in and just kind of take care of your receivables, whatever that looks like, right?
Yeah.
So find the solution for the problem, but think about that ahead of time and start early, right? So build your business with to begin with the end in mind, right? So we knew we wanted to franchise, we knew we wanted to be a nationwide brand. So when we started the business, when I came in, we're like, everything we do, we have that goal in mind.
Yeah.
Right? Even the name Holeinthewall. You were doing drywall repairs, DeMent painting and drywall.
Yep.
But that's not a nationwide brand, right? So
was never going to be.
So you create Holeinthewall, right? Which, by the way, was just a having breakfast with a buddy of yours you met in a networking group.
Yeah.
And voila, the name Holeinthewall came about, right? Very grateful for that. So again, Bill, I appreciate this conversation, and I think it's one that we should have over and over again. And,
Agreed.
Well, good. Well, hopefully we won't wait 2 more months for the next podcast. We'll keep it.
We definitely will not.
It was a busy season, man, between conventions and health issues and trainings and
Yeah, but you know what? I miss not doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought, that would be nice to kind of have a little bit of a break, but we were pretty busy. But I'm like, I kind of missed it.
Yeah. Well, as the year wraps up, we'll do a couple more, and then next year we'll hit it pretty heavy again.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of momentum. So thank you. If you made it this far in the podcast, thanks for listening, and we pray you guys have a great rest of the year. And thanks for listening.
We'd like to thank you for listening to the Holeinthewall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Holeinthewall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.